If you have big, wide feet like I do, you might relate to this. My entire life, I've been wearing shoes that were too narrow for my feet. I didn't know what to do about this my entire life. I just kind of accepted it. I just kept wearing bigger and bigger shoes. I went from size 11 to size 12 to size 13 to fit with my ever increasing foot width. As I get older, as I'm into my 30s now, my feet are kind of swollen a little bit just from getting older. And I just value comfort a lot more. So I had to find the solution to this problem. I went online, I looked around, and eventually I came across this concept called barefoot shoes. There was this concept that if you wear a shoe that is form fit to your natural foot, it would make everything more comfortable. You would have your natural movement back again, and your feet would naturally go back to its normal shape, and your body would feel a lot better. And for me, for a guy with thick, wide feet, it sounded like I really needed that. So I went online and looked on Amazon and I found these. Boom, the Whitin Amazon shoes. I believe this is a brand made by Amazon. They're super cheap and affordable, and they seem like the perfect beginner shoes if you're going into the barefoot world. This version is the Whitin Barefoot Shoes W892 if you're interested. They looked like a pretty solid shoe that I would wear. They sell a whole bunch of different types, different colors, and different designs. But I chose to get something that I could wear more casually. There are a lot of different type of barefoot shoes. There are super enthusiasts that like barefoot running shoes and really thin shoes that they can wear. But let's go ahead and I'll just give a quick review of what barefoot shoes are. The basics of a barefoot shoe: a wide toe box, super wide toe box so that your toes can spread out and be more natural, which I really needed. Second, very low stack height. The idea of being barefoot is that you're as close to the ground as possible. So there is very little heel drop or no heel drop at all. Barefoot enthusiasts want to be as close to the ground as possible to get a very good ground feel. Three, you want the shoe to be very flexible to give you the most natural feeling possible. Now, for the guys with big feet, does this shoe actually fix the problem? Is this shoe fixing my problem with extra wide feet? I've got extra high instep, I've got an extra wide foot, and my toes need space to spread.
You making videos?
Yeah, I'm making a video. Let me do it in peace. Go over there. This was my first shoe dipping into the barefoot world, and I wanted to see if it was actually going to help me in my situation. So I've come up with a list of cons and pros, and to see if this will actually work for me as a beginner into the barefoot world. Con number one, it's the material of this specific model. Whitin makes a lot of the canvas material, which I opted to buy, and they also make a knit material. But I chose the canvas because it's a little thicker, it looks a little stronger. It's close to like a jean material. It kind of reminds me of Vans. The first couple times I wore this shoe, it was still a little bit too narrow for my feet. I felt a lot of pressure right here, right before the toe box when I was first wearing the shoes the first couple times. But I figured that I needed to widen them out by adjusting the laces, and it actually worked. So now they're actually extremely comfortable. My second con has to be the height of the shoe. So when you're looking online, it doesn't look like a problem, but in person, this shoe does have a very low profile. And sometimes, I would feel like it's not secure enough along the heel and right up along the sides here. Some people might like that, some people might not. I usually like to wear shoes that are a little higher. I like to wear mid top shoes and even some high top shoes. In my younger days, I used to wear Air Forces and sneakers like that with a higher top, the mid tops that would have ankle protection. When I played sports, I always chose the shoes that had ankle protection, but it's not really that bad. My foot is just extra wide and extra big, and I have extra high instep. So that might just be something that I'm dealing with personally. But this might fit most people just fine. The next con is the waterproofing. I do delivery for a job, so I'm outside a lot and I walk through a lot of different terrain. Recently, it snowed while I was on the job, and water was getting through. The waterproofing on this shoe is almost non existent. The canvas material takes water in very easily. It's like wearing a pair of jeans outside. If you get water in your jeans, the jeans are wet. Coupling that with a very low stack height, the water can get inside your shoes very, very easily. Overall, this shoe is not meant to be a water shoe. It's not meant to be a inclement weather shoe. It's not meant to be a snowshoe, so you wouldn't really expect that from the shoe anyways. Just letting you know that was one of the cons. And the final con I have about this is just the time it takes to get adjusted to a new barefoot shoe if you are new to this whole thing. So if you're not used to wearing a shoe that's wider, very low to the ground, very flexible, and just different. The shoes are just different. See how it's shaped? The toe shape looks kind of funny because it's more natural. It really fits your foot shape better. You might get sore. You might get sore from the very minimal protection and the very minimal cushioning on the bottom of the shoe. If you're walking on concrete all the time, if you're walking on rocks, you can kind of feel the rocks poking through. Not to the point where it's bad. I still walk over rocks, like through people's front yards and stuff. Like if you have a pile of rocks in your front yard, those gravel that people use for their driveways and for their flower paths and stuff, you can walk right through it. It still feels good. You'll feel the little bumps here and there, but it's not that bad. And it just might take a little bit of time to get used to. You might get sore in different areas also. With the change in how you're wearing your shoe and how you feel your shoe and the whole form of your foot is no longer going to have a big heel drop, and the balls of your toe are not going to be doing all the work. So you're going to have more of a flat foot. Your feet are going to hit the ground in different places, and that might change the way your body is using your knees, your ankles, your lower back, anything in your foot. So it's going to be a change up. Your muscles going to need to adjust to that. Your tendons might need to adjust to that. Your joints are going to need to adjust to that. In my case, I really needed it though. It's really improving my overall body function, in my opinion. And that's going to bring us into our first pro, this super wide toe box. Okay, this is not the widest toe box I've seen from all barefoot shoes. Other brands make theirs even wider. I think this is a very good beginner toe box for people just getting into this barefoot shoe wearing stuff. It's really good. It's good enough for me, and my toes are able to spread out, and it's very comfortable. It makes me feel like I can grip the ground. It makes me feel like my feet are moving the way they're supposed to, and I'm getting that stability when I'm walking or even just standing. Just having a wider shoe in general, it makes me feel like I'm not wearing skates. With wide feet, when you're wearing normal shoes that are too narrow for your feet, it might feel like you're wearing ice skates. I felt like I was wearing ice skates, and the pressure on my feet was so bad. I used to feel like I was wearing, these little thin lines on my feet, so my stability wouldn't be as good, and my feet would really hurt over a long period of time just standing up and walking. And this extra wide width is really helping me. And it's different from just buying a normal shoe in extra wide width. Because with the normal shoe, the way they make their shoes, they're still going to have a very pointy toe box. So you might get a wide shoe towards at the middle, but then it's still going to point towards the end, and it won't feel comfortable anyways. Your toes are still going to be scrunched up. There's still going to be something wrong with the anatomy of your body being scrunched up like that. Next pro, the low stack height. So it was a con, but it's also a pro. This low stack height gives me even more stability. Coupled with the wide width, it feels like I have a lot of traction on the ground. This gumdrop sole in particular feels extra grippy in light water conditions. So, like I mentioned before, when I was going through a snow day at work and I was walking through snow and slick and water and ice, I still had good grip. This honeycomb pattern seems to be working really well in slipperier conditions and in dry conditions. They're super good. They feel just as grippy as your Nikes and Adidases and other big brands, maybe even better. This gumdrop sole, I don't know if it's supposed to be better for grip or not. I don't know anything about the gumdrop soles, but this shoe feels really well. It feels really stable when I'm walking on slick surfaces, rocky surfaces, gravel, pavement, floors. It just feels good. I feel like I have less of a chance of rolling my ankles. I've saved myself a couple times, and I can tell that the low, very low stack height is helping me with that because I'm closer to the ground. There's less of that distance to roll my ankle, which is great. And the last pro is just the natural movement. The healing effect of the natural movement that a barefoot shoe is providing me. My toes are able to spread out so I can grip the ground better, and that has a ripple effect from my toe to my midfoot to my ankle, all the way up to my knees into my lower back. I remember one time I went to a concert wearing normal Nike running shoes, but just standing there in a crowd and at a concert, my feet were hurting so bad. They were getting numb and I could feel it going up my leg. And it's not a good feeling. I never want to go through that again. And these shoes are taking care of that problem for me. I have a bunch of problems in my legs. I get gout in my feet and my knees. I've had my ACL repaired from playing football. So my knee once in a while gets inflamed and sore. And my lower back hurts a lot from just standing. I do have a bigger gut, so I think that affects my standing too. But these shoes are helping me with that. Overall, you might feel sore for the first couple times wearing it because of how low and how soft these are and how flat these are. But I think it's the natural movement, the natural structure of your walking and standing posture that's going to improve your overall, posture and health and your pain and your foot pain and your width problems overall. So, in conclusion, I will be wearing these going forward, and I have purchased more different styles that I will be reviewing in future videos because this barefoot lifestyle, this barefoot concept that I'm getting into, I really enjoy it. I think it's actually improving my life. It's weird, just they're just shoes, right? But I think I've really come to accept that I needed to try something different if I wanted to improve my health. I really want to improve the quality of my life. So, along with exercising, dieting, eating well, and getting sleep, I have to wear the gear, the correct gear that is made for my body and that's going to help me thrive. And these shoes are helping me do that. I will have more shoes in this kind of category to review. I've bought more Whitin shoes. I've got some barefoot boots that I'm going to unbox soon. So, yeah, like and subscribe and check out my videos.